Hi folks, I wanted to make a new video today to show you my new acquisition. It is the Donner DAJ-110C. It's an acoustic guitar by Donner Guitar. They're a Chinese company, but they make some rather surprisingly good instruments. So before I show you the instrument though, I wanted to start by telling you what comes in your order. So I ordered this from Amazon, and I'll talk about the price later in the video. But actually comes with rather a lot of things. So you'll find first this gig bag, and okay, so it's not the best quality gig bag you'll ever find, but it's still pretty good. It feels quite good. It feels reasonably sturdy. The inside, the lining is probably not something that is going to last forever. So if it's something that you're going to be taking on tour or whatever, I wouldn't necessarily expect it to last an awful amount of time. But the second thing you get is a bag of a whole bunch of accessories. So you got this way bag here with the Donner logo on it, and in there there's actually quite a lot of things, considering the value of what you pay for this entire package. So in there you have, that'll be like a surprise packet. So you get a capo with pickups, with pickups, yes. And it's a fairly solid metal capo. The picks, there's 4 of them. There's 2 0.46 and 2 0.72 mil. I don't really like thin picks, so these are not probably likely to be ever used, but still nice to have if you're just starting. Oh, and the next thing just fell down. So the next thing you get is a tuner. There's a clip-on tuner. And I haven't tested it yet because I already have a clip-on tuner. But it's again, this is something you'd pay like about 10 or 12 pounds for in a guitar store. I can't remember how much a capo actually costs, but again, it'll be like, I don't know, 6 or 7 pounds. You also get, so you get a pick scratch, a scratch plate of some sort. It's kind of it's a vinyl type of material that you kind of stick onto the guitar. You can either use it or you can leave it. I haven't quite decided yet whether I want to put it on or not. Then the next thing you've got is a microfiber cloth. I also haven't tested the QR code, but I suspect it'll just take you to the Donner website. And that's not it. You've got your Allen key, because that guitar has a truss rod, which is pretty cool. You have a fresh set of strings. Now, the guitar does come with strings on already, obviously, but you know, you got a spare set, so you know, result. And finally, I think that's the last thing. Yep, you get a strap. It's a woven cloth strap, but it looks fairly good quality. Let's see if I can focus on that. There you go. And all of that, plus the gig bag, not counting the guitar, bag itself, not bad quality for the bag, but that's rather incidental. So let's have a look at the guitar itself. And there it is. Like I said, it is the Donner DAJ 110C. Yeah. It's the J stands for jumbo because it's a it's a mini jumbo body, and they do a bunch of different sizes. Mostly the sort of the kind of bigger bodies, but I like the size and the shape of that one, so that's what I went for. And price-wise, there's very little difference between each of their models. But before I show you the specifics of the guitar, I want to show you this one thing, which I've never seen in a guitar before. I've bought a bunch of guitars in the past, and this is the first time I see something like this included with the tag of the guitar. Check this out. You get a chord chart. There we go. It's basic chords, and most of you watching this will probably know all of these already. But if you're just beginning and you need to know your basic chords, this is perfect. But that's not all. If you turn that over, show you the other way. You've got a string action ruler. I've never seen this. Well, I have one made out of metal, but this is really, really handy. Just to check. Now you can't really. Well, you can adjust the action because there is a truss rod, of course. But yeah, it's not something I've ever seen before. So kudos to Donner for including that as part of the entire packaging for this guitar. I mean, they really have thought through the kind of really basic stuff that a complete beginner might need in order to kind of get on the right track for playing acoustic. So let's talk about the guitar itself. The top is made out of Sitka spruce. It's quite nice. The rest of the body is African mahogany, and has a really nice feel to it. What I like is it doesn't feel massive. It feels like it's just the right side. It feels really comfortable, and I was really surprised by that because I've played some acoustics in the past and they tend to feel like really just big and bulky, and this one not at all. One thing that based on the images that I saw, one thing I wasn't expecting to be too keen on necessarily was the headstock. I don't know, on the picture the headstock just didn't seem to be terribly attractive, but it's I actually really like it. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the Donner logo necessarily, but it's a lot thinner than I was expecting, and well, the lighting here is not great. So, but it's got the black paint contrasts really well, and those black tuners as well. I think works really well. There we go. Now, the other thing here that you might not expect is that the nut is made out of bone. It's a bone nut. It's not a plastic nut, which, you know, for a model that price, you would expect these kind of things to be made out of plastic, but it's actually a bone nut. The bridge saddle looks like it's the same material. It looks like it's made out of bone as well, which wouldn't surprise me necessarily. The neck feels nice and comfortable. Kind of again thinner than I was expecting. It's a C-shaped neck, so fairly standard, and because it's a nice satin finish, it doesn't feel sticky, or it feels like it's got just the right amount for your hand to kind of rest and be comfortable. So I really like it. It's got 21 frets. With the cutaway, you can go all the way down to about 21st fret in here, which is nice if you want to shred on something like this, but that's not really what it's meant for. Now, having said that, so I don't actually, in terms of the fretboard, I don't I'm not 100% sure what the fretboard is made out of. I strongly doubt that it's made out of ebony. The black is a little bit light, but the website didn't really have any. I couldn't find any information about what the fingerboard was made of. The frets themselves, I've heard various reports about, how well the frets were dressed. There's a tiny bit of sharpness on the end of the frets, and if you look closely, you can kind of see that some of those frets are not necessarily as well dressed as they could be. But it's not actually that bad on this one anyway. Yes, it could use a little bit of dressing, but I don't find it particularly uncomfortable. If I run my fingers, it doesn't want to dig into it or anything like that. So I think for now I'm not gonna worry about it. Obviously, again, because it's a reasonably cheap guitar, there are a couple of cosmetic flaws that I've noticed. If you look here at the binding, there's a little bit of bleeding from the binding onto the top there. It's not particularly attractive, but again, it's kind of a minor detail. There's a little bit of a blemish kind of in this area here. It's hard to see on camera, but again, it's not a huge deal, and overall it looks really well made. So you might be wondering how much this guitar is. Well, I paid less than £100 for the whole thing. I think right now you can get it on Amazon for about £95 or something like that. That's the guitar, the gig bag, and the bag of all of those accessories that I just showed you. So it is pretty impressive for what it is, and I'm really quite happy with my purchase. The other thing is playing it is a lot easier than I was dreading. I had an acoustic a long time ago, and that thing is a nightmare to play. Like, you have to press so hard for any given chord. Bar chords don't even think about doing a bar chord. It's absolutely dreadful. That one, it's a dream. So let me show you a couple of let me give you a little bit of a demo, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on the guitar. So there you go. These are my thoughts on the Donner DAJ-110C. That's right. And this is a really, really good little guitar for if you're a beginner and looking for an acoustic guitar. I'm really looking forward to using this guitar to practice all of my chord progressions, to sort of like try and hopefully come up with song ideas and things like that. And you think, well, why not do that with all of the electric ones which are up here? It's just not the same. It's nice to just kind of have that sort of resonant sound, which you can't really get out of. I have a semi-acoustic, which semi-hollow guitar I got last year, and I thought it would be enough for that sort of thing, but it's just not. It's just not the same. And that's got like a really good resonance to it as well. I don't know how well this will have translated on camera, but hopefully if you were looking for an acoustic guitar at a really affordable price, like I said, it's under £100 off Amazon, but I haven't checked the Donner website to see if you can order directly from them, but I wouldn't be surprised if you could. But I suspect their main retailer is Amazon, so I'll put a link on the video description if you want to check it out. And well, if you've taken the time to watch throughout this video entirely, I'm very grateful, so thank you, and I'll see you when I see you.